A lot of folks just don't understand the cowboy way, fighting fire with fire. The instincts of the West run deep, and like a lot of folks, I was raised out here in the cradle of Utah over there snuggled up against them Wasatch Mountains, but despite the religious infection over there, I somehow managed to pick up that cowboy way too, man, despite all of that, Of course, my family had some ranching going on and so forth, besides a whole lot of farming too. Wow. We were the and how of busy back in those days, but there's a certain, gunfighter element to that old Western attitude. It's very gentle, it's very graceful, it acknowledges the lady's presence when everybody's looking, and it's kind of bad behind the screen when nobody else can see. They think, oh man, if we had just realized then what we realize now, how it's all lived into totality with life. There is no screen, there is no privacy, there's no place to hide, no place to run, see? And that's kind of the gunfighter attitude too, man. There's a severity to the justice of the West, and it has a very simple nature to it. But it's mean as hell. And it don't acknowledge anybody's presence as being valuable, except for those that are the victors in the gunfight of love, Well, that's an absurd attitude in a way, but the base of it, the idea that there's a sweet, simple justice still lives inside of us, And so because of that, we kind of rise beyond the judgment of this world, and we see it in that simple way that, wow, this is the way we change it, by living in the and how. By drawing our gun and, projecting from its projectile a whole new image of life. So that others, let go of the rickety shit and quit being mean to each other and picking on each other in the ways that we do. In other words, it's kind of like, we were describing yesterday, the snowflakes, how each has its, nice little geometric pattern. It's beautiful, but it's very personal. You can get 1 billion snowflakes and not find any two that are the same presence, Well, that beautiful individual form of expression, when the sun shines on it, kind of melds into a single molecule of water, which then joins with other molecules to become a drop of water that eventually becomes the ocean of love from which everything arises in life. That's the process we're kind of going through here in this Coyote way, in this here day, in this here moment and now. It's the and how. It's the sunlight shining from 9,000 feet high in the Rocky Mountain sky. Here with old Grandpaw, Coyote, and the Coyote Medicine Show, don't you know? Where else but the Hazy Radio Network? God, we love them so, and you too. HazyRadio.com, we got it on. Stay tuned, baby. There's a lot more to go on this Coyote Medicine Show, don't you know? As we help you stay in the flow, to understand the nature of your own molecular structure, your uniqueness in this reality. But as you kind of melt down, you see that uniqueness in the unique way of all of reality. You're a molecular, personal, subatomic form of it, a neutron and a proton and an electron dancing around having a great time and making life out of it, you see. It gets down to that basic, minimal level where the gunfighter sees it, It's real simple. Either you are or you ain't. And if you ain't, baby, you're in trouble. But then you are. 'Cause you realize there ain't no ain't. There's only the and how of right now. You see, what's been is been. We don't have to turn back time to know that, do we? And man, what we feel about it now is the real deal. We see it in that simple gunfighter sort of way, the simple justice in the point of a gun. And only we blast ourselves past the harsh reality of shooting people down because they displease us in some way, back into the rising up of, wow, I blasted you with my heart today. You can't be that bad way anymore, see? Because the gunfighter, this one is, this is Billy the Kid. And this gunfighter, man, he's just like innocent. He's 13 years old, but deadly with the weapon, man. Skilled, that makes, the ancient men weep with envy, you know. I mean, this guy is a warrior at a tiny little age, maybe about pint size still. That's why they called him kid, 5'2", man. But he could outgun you or anybody else too. Bring on a posse, and there would be a bloodbath. I mean, shit. This was meaner than a rattlesnake ever dreamed of being. Took the rattlesnake persona and said, "Wow, I'll be poison for everybody now." And it worked for a while. Of course, everybody meets their end. That's the simple justice in it. You can't create justice out of injustice. It just don't work. And sooner or later it catches up to you, and bam, down you go. It's your turn, man. I don't care how big a rattlesnake you are. There's chicken shit shoot you in the back anyway, and sometimes you don't feel them coming. All you gotta do is slip once, eh? See, now that's the gunfighter way. But instead of all that vile violence, see the simple nature that it's based on. You know, I mean, that the drama has its origins in. And it's a need in humanity for equity, for justice, for the little guy to stand up and gun the sons of bitches down that are killing them all. See, that's what Billy the Kid was. He was the people's champion of the day. In a simple sort of way. Of course, that gets corrupted because the law ain't going to let you alone. It's bought and paid for even then. You know what I mean? But at least some of the sons of bitches went down. That was the attitude of the day. And the control was weakened. And the people's heart could move forward a little more because some of their enemies were out of the way. Simple justice. You know, a kid-like attitude. You see, that's what Billy the Kid was, the innocent gunfighter. He didn't know what he was doing. He's 13 years old. You think he had anything but compulsions to go by? That was it. You see? Innocent as all get out. Like really every other gunfighter is, even though it looks like Lee Van Cleef sometimes. God, you don't get much uglier than old Clint now, do you? Sorry, bud. I know your 44 outgunned you every time. Having fun down there. The Hogs Head tuned in this morning in Carmel, California, I bet you. Got to keep you boys entertained down there in that old Hogs Head, you know. I mean, well, long live the pig, because the pig is dead, okay? Here we go. Salute you all the way along, babies. I know I'm speaking in code for a moment, but oh well. Those that understand do understand. It's the code of the heart, don't you know? Just like the code of the West is the code of the heart, too. But we ain't gunning you down with such a passionate vengeance. We're bringing you around with a passionate vengeance, okay? The vengeance of the heart. The loving mother love, who finally, you know, lets the curtain fall and the gracefulness come into being, man, and shows her true strength in this reality. Inside of you and me, babies. You know, the soft and gentle side of this life been neglected and ignored and abused and stomped on and all of that for generations of time now, babies. And it's about time that she showed you how much she was willing to take. And how much her booty do shake. And if she shakes it, you bake it. I don't care who you are. You're not immune from the Mama Mary Jane love, as I call it. That divine feminine, which is masculine and feminine combined. There is no genderization in that way. Gender is an experience, and a beautiful one. And we've chosen to have it that way. But there is not the division between them that there seems to be in this impossible world of humanity. You just got to get back to that kid-like innocence and see that you've been trying to gun them down one way or another and get justice for yourself, even in the battlefield of love. And it's been a battlefield. And most of us come out of it bruised and battered and don't want to go back there again. But, you know, the irresistible impulse is to reunite with your heart. Inside and outside of yourself and all about yourself. Well, that's in process now, ain't it, man? You talk about the shot that killed it. There it is. And Billy the Kid delivered it through my presence of Grandpa Coyote in this moment of now. Made up for all that killing that he did, didn't he? And how? Well, we all do, man. See, that's the equity in life. It's funny how people think it's karma and punishment. It's not. It's going around and learning the lessons and sharing it widely, man. It's the gunfighter, man. And he just took us all down and brought us all back up. Geez, O-H-O. How much better can it get, don't you know? Here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Just getting you in the flow this morning. You know, a little bit here, a little bit there, nick and a tuck, and, you know, who gives a truck, man? Well, we're driving that one, that truck hauling the freight of life down the highway of life, you know, and delivering with love the goods and services that are needed and required in this moment of now and how, because the heart cares. And it's a powerful darn thing, man. More powerful than a locomotive or a gunfighter or an army tank or an atomic bomb or a planetary, you know, reactionary weapon that can destroy the whole universe. Man, it's more powerful than any of that shit. That's all based in fear and illusion. Love is the reality in everything, and that's the lesson of the Gunfighter today. Given in that Coyote way, where else but the Coyote Medicine Show on the ever-loving, ever-clear center of the universe. Your universal heart in motion, the Hazy Radio Network, babies, you know. And babies, we got programming coming on board like you wouldn't believe. The energy's starting to recreate itself here on this little network. You're going to get it clearer and rocking too, man. Because we like to rock this reality just like Billy the Kid did. How do you think a 13-year-old kid ever became such a famous little gunfighter anyway? I mean, shit. People like simple justice. They feed on it. And everybody thought it was the macabre, the bloodthirsty side. Well, that got fed too, didn't it? But one's a reflection of the other. And now we see through it. And here's to it, babies. A salute from my official Crestonia, Colorado, USA, home of the Rocky Mountain High Mug. Available on thecoyoteclub.com. Don't forget, we're listener supported, and thank you very much. I love you so. Oh, sweet Judy Blue Eyes has come by out of our little green room, and she says, I'm an angel and I can fly. And I said, Judy, Judy, Judy. And Mary Jane too, baby. Here's one. Yeah. Oh, man, you just blossom like the sun. Be the D light that you are. The D light. That's amplified light, in case you don't know. That's E equals MC squared times the 10th power or so. Okay. No, it's even more than that. I think it's millennial. You know, I think it never ends, man. Here's where it begins, right here, right now. On this Coyote Medicine Show, on this Coyote Network, yeah. The Hazy Radio Network, Radio Free Coyote, and then some, don't you know. Delivered from the heart of the most evil gunfighter to ever live, that was more innocent than Adam was, and Eve too, and the snake. Free Day Friday, Free Day Friday, Free Day Friday. What you got in your frying pan this morning? I'll bet it's something that's just going to get you rocking, eh? Me too, baby. Yeah, burning for you just like Billy the Kid back in the old days of the old West, man. Holy guacamole. Man, that kid, you know, innocent as he was, man. He had a passion for vengeance, you know. And babies, when some smut face got up there and started stealing from the people, he was bound to become a victim of Billy's gun, man, you know, 'cause Billy knew justice, sweet and simple, through and through. In his innocent sort of way, he saw with eyes that even the cleverest of adults couldn't even conceive of, 'cause they'd left that child behind so long ago. So there was Billy the Kid as a killer to remind him so. I mean, you never saw, despite his venom, despite his poison, you never saw that rattlesnake look in his eye. He's a kid, 13 years old, you and I personify in Billy that way. But Billy has fired his love gun today, man, and took us all out, man, 'cause he's good and you can't beat him. He was the one everybody sought to beat, and the one that none could defeat, because he was the innocent one. And because he could be protected by angels, though he be personified as a demonic presence in this reality. You know, there was a service of love in his fatality, and that which he shared in the death that brought people back to life. See, hearts work differently in this reality as we see it, and Billy understood this in the innocent way. You know, that a heart will call forward its own death when it's had enough of the play. You know, when it can't stand its sucky own attitude, and, you know, it's worn down by all of it, even though it appears to be prosperous and demonically happy, you know. See, there's a certain simpleness in the innocence, in the passion of that innocence too that seeks justice, and in the heart that calls forward and says, "Get me out of this unjust place, would you please, Billy the Kid?" So that's what he did. All lives are lived in this way. Whether it be old Pablo, way back there in the way back when, that gave himself to poverty and service to humanity forever, or it be Billy the Kid that gave himself in service in a darker sort of way, as some people perceive it. But nonetheless, the same sacrifice, the same service to humanity in some way being given, called forward by what? The hearts of those around us. Every life is so lived. But it's a personal choice to participate or not to participate. And that's what living and dying is all about. We come in when we feel like it. We go out when we feel like it, in the heart-centered way. And we're not always obviously conscious of that, of course. The whole idea is to get back to that moment through all this comedy and tragedy, to that moment where the air that you breathe, that one breath, is the precious life that you live and all the love in it. And the experience of that amazing clarity. See, this is why we chose to be breathing beings instead of those that could exist without vapors, We like the ethereal. We had to give it a little bit of liquidity, so we made it into an atmosphere, don't you see, that we could breathe of. And remind ourselves with each breath of the magic in our life. The beautiful nature of the ethereal upon which we depend for our very life. Breath is more important than food, see? More important than anything, really, because without that, how can you live and express love, see? So in that breath must be the love of the mother's heart that reassures us that no matter where we be, what we be doing, we are the mother love in motion. We're just as innocent as Billy the Kid and Pablo the nun. We're just as innocent as all of that, and then some. We don't really know any better than to be the innocent, no matter how vain or vile we might seem in the roles we've been playing here. And vice versa, too, no matter how saintly we might appear, Everyone's got the satanic, the titanic, the Luciferian, that goes with the turf, baby. We balance it out in a kind of a cosmic harmony, a comedy of sorts, man. It's like Slaughterhouse-5. It's the irony of the worst kind of war, giving birth to the best kind of conditions, to the ideal life, you see. And now we start to understand the gritty nature of darkness and what it's done for us, its service to humanity, and its ugly cruelty. And only in this way can we embrace it, because then we can accept it as a part of our experience. And in that acceptance is a letting go of the need for it anymore. Do you see that? It's an allowing yourself to see the love in the darkest of ways as well as the brightest. To let go of this idea that there's any division between them. To see the saintly side of life. There's a sacrifice big time on the darker side as well as the light. You give up your person to be something else for a while. Some kind of warped, shadowy presence that really ain't your presence at all, yet it's got that essential source, that essence of your own heart in it. And therefore it's all of you in a way. And it's just acting in a play, in a way. But beautifully so, because we believe it and live it, and that gives it reality. From the heartfelt way. Now you take that breath and you consider that love that's in that atmosphere and what that reassures us of. In the ethereal is the source essence of our life. Without breath we have no life. The baby breathes inside the mother's breath while it's in the womb, but when it exits, what's one of the first things it does? Takes that first breath. Can you remember that moment in time? That's the unity of oneness that I've been talking about forever here on this Coyote Medicine Show. Here on this Everclear Hazy Radio Network. Oh, babies, hazyradio.com. We got it on. And so do you when you remember that first breath. Then you know what living is all about. It's the acceptance of feeling in the ethereal realm. It's the unionizing of life in a heartfelt sort of way, an organic heart, a rooted heart that feels the mother love in just a particular way that only human beings can do. Yet, as we allow that to be, we share it with all of reality, because human is creation. That's what it means. Human creation. The colorful rainbow of life exhibited in all its spectacular ways. And there's far more than a promise fulfilled in that rainbow. That's the fullness of life, for heck's sakes. Why do you think it doubles and triples itself every now and then, just to give you a reassurance there in the sky as a sign? But it's not a sign. Signs just tell you what's coming up along the highway, right? So it's not a sign. It's an exhibition of truth. Just like the breath that we breathe that reminds us of our true source essence, our real life. Given in this loving way through the period of sacrifice. Do you realize what a great sacrifice it is to be Lucifer or Satana or whoever it happens to be, that you want to personify yourself as in the dark world? Do you realize what a great sacrifice that is? Do you realize what a disharmonious place that is? How difficult it is to maintain that energy? You see the squirrely nature of it in the world all around you. You can't hold that place too long, man, That's why, bureaucracies and shit are filled with dumb routines and actions and shit. Because it just doesn't know how to hold that space. It's lost there, you see. But it's a sacrifice, supremely so. Just like you're making right now as you sacrifice all those views you used to have about life. Hang them up on that cross and let them be crucified once again, in your own way. This ain't Jesus, this is you. Jesus, us, each one of us, letting go of that view we've held on ourselves, That's what the Christed One represents. It's the seeing of the innocence of Billy the Kid. And when you can see that, then Billy the Kid has taught you the lesson that back in the 1840-somethings they came to share. And still does, through the likes of me and you too, man. Because we all live in a portion of that. That's all a part of our life now. See, just like everything past, It's all a part of our presence. And we've been lied to about a lot of it. But don't worry. If you can feel this, if you can accept this as your reality, then you're there. And you will know your own personal history as well as the dynamic of the earth and all of her minions, including us as her children, and the universe around us as the blossoming flower of life that earth is the center but of, and we but the tiny little filaments there that create seeds and shit. The sunflower man, the blue star, and the age of the blue star now, as prophesied by many before us, is upon us now. And many of us experience that as a union of sun and earth inside of ourselves. And as we do, then the experience in the reality around us shifts in that direction too. It can't be helped, you see. There's no vanity in it. It's just simply allowing your presence to be what it truthfully is. And to deny no longer through the practice of fear that you have a heart. And that you're worthy in every moment that you live of what you're living. And not only that, that you feel it as an acceptable presence in this great heart of love that's in the breath of life that we take here on a Free Day Friday. Now, it might be your first free breath, and since you took that first one as a child, you never know. But let the brilliance of that first breath and all the exuberance behind it, let that be the regenerative moment of now. See? Been making love with a different reality, It has something far more than the joining of the genders going on, doesn't it? It's the joining of the universes in the innocent baby child. That's what the Christed nature represents. It's not about taking it all away for you or doing it for you. No, it's all of us doing it. All of us recognizing the significance of our performance here, the great sacrifice we've made in it. So we personified it in a magical person so we could remember ourselves of our own magic. Just like the rainbow does. It's very primal. See, that old fishy person is represented by the rainbow in life now, isn't he? And she. See, because you missed the she part, they cut that out, didn't they? Because that's the very source essence of it. They didn't want you to know what the Christ of nature was. They wanted you to worship it as some kind of authoritarian dickhead from, way back in the way back when, that gave up their life and sacrificed everything for everybody else, so nobody else has to worry about it anymore, and you can all be guilty of sin and go ahead and do what you want to do. Shit, especially if you pay the Pope. Then you get a free ride, man. You got right till you're back there facing yourself and saying, oh shit. The moment consciousness returns. See, death is life. And death is a return to consciousness in all instances. Whether you are so shocked by it, you stay here for a while or you move on. It's awakening to where you really are. It's really remembrance of that first breath and what a value that is, what a moment that is, because that moment lives forever. It's the first breath of the universe, given throughout all of creation, through all moments in time. See, that's the unifying factor, the demonstrable proof of the mother's love, and of the illusion we live in. Because the reality is, we're breathing it, we are it, we all of it. The atmosphere and the ethers is what everything is made out of. And in that atmosphere is the water, which sometimes has been densified and liquefied in form now, right? And made to be something a little heavier, or something to give you a little density, a little graveness. But in that graveness, the feeling of life. Because it gets to feel something. I was just noticing that as I was brewing a pot of coffee here a few minutes ago, about how heavy the glass got that I pour the water into the coffee pot with as I filled it up. The amazing density of the water, which yet is so light, and is in the vapors around us, the air that we breathe. Water is the essence of it. Though it may only be 3%, it's there. The water in everything. It's the common nature. It's the common element. It's the organic, really. That which brings forward the organic. Even when we smoke Mary Jane in this transformative and sacred sort of way, it's the vapor that carries the magic to us. The smoke. The visible presence of ether, because it's got what? Vapor, water in it, see? Now we're getting down to the basic elements of creation. The basic rainbow of life. The vapor. Water's made of it. The atmosphere is made of it. The earth is made of it. The trees are made of it. The lives we live are all made of it, and everything in it. It's the essential source. The realization of life in creation. The one love. The one heart. The one and only, which is everyone. Now do you begin to see how it's done? Have we done this coyote tale and got it nice and spun? I mean, are you seeing yourself standing in the sun naked and not alone, but united through that sun and earth with all of life? See, you retire yourself into the earth to experience the life. But now, that was through death, and now through life we retire ourselves to the earth and the sky to unify the intelligence, the common nature of them both. The unifying ethereal love, given of the vapors of life, which form as clouds do into various different things and various different motions. All of them feeling. All of them creative in every aspect and every moment of their experience. Given in that divine way of the humble heart that knows no prejudice, no fear, no pride. Just a certain essential happiness at being itself and being alive. The same as that first breath, before there's tragedy, before there's triumph or anything else. That one breath, that one moment on a free day Friday, breathing it right along with you, babies, and setting each other free, because each of us is all of us, and all of us is each of us, and we're united completely. And there is no division or separation. No privacy, though in the privy nature of your personal experience, your heart is allowed its personal way, accepted by everyone. Or the reality would cave in on itself immediately. So you understand now the agreement in all things which comes from the ethereal, which is the energy of life, given its self-demonstration and physical formality, which is the vapor, forming itself as the painting or the tapestry of life in the way that we depict it here on this Coyote Medicine Show. Ooh, it's a free day Friday, don't you know? Aren't you glad you tuned in, man? More ways than one. There's a whole tribe out there catching that vibe today. I feel so empowered, I don't think I'll ever calm down again, man. You know, I just stay ever flowing like the fountain of love that I are. I expect you to do the same, baby, because if I can do it, you can too, because I'm a tawdry old man with weak and nonsensical forms of existence in my life that I'm still trying to get a handle on. Ain't you? Oh, baby, don't be blue. Be like Janice. In your blues, find the happiness of your heart dancing through it, man. You know, out of the agony comes the ecstasy. Out of the ecstasy comes the realization there ain't no agony. And it's always been ecstasy, you know. It's always ecstatic. It's always content within itself. That's the true meaning of life and what we're here to gather into ourselves and put back to life. That contentment. Oh, I hear those words again. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Life is what it is, babies, and it ain't no priz now, is it? Free Day Friday, Free Day Friday, Free Day Friday. Given in that coyote way, here on the Coyote Medicine Show, hungry like the wolf, don't you know, but satisfied and content as can be, because there ain't no hunger inside of you or me, man. See how free we can be? All needs fulfilled when you know. And live in that heartfelt, ever-loving, ethereal flow. The water of life flowing through us in all ways, man. Isn't that awesome? How about that, possum? Free Day Friday, man. We just jumped out of the frying pan into the fire, man. We just melted ourselves down to a whole new reality. How about that, man? Shit. And there was no fatality in it either. It was rebirth. Yeah, rebirthing. It's not like coming forward from mom again. It's finding our place in life, our natural flow. It's the birth, the P-E-R-T-H, the place where you tie up to the dock and reminisce over the journeys and all the adventures you've been on out there in the grand oceans of love, piloting your way along, man. Sometimes you're guided by the stars that ain't even present in the sky, just knowing which direction to go, because you understand the liquid nature of life and the flow, and you know how to feel your way through it, don't you now? Reminders of your ever-presence. Oh, baby, I tell you, the libations of love given from the heart of a dove. Which is kind of, oh, you know, gritty in its own way, man. We got both sides, wouldn't you say? And we've learned to live from both sides now. And how? We'll give up the rest of it today, eh? Just be in the loving way, understand, baby. You got something to sing about. So do I. And a lot of hearts with us, babies. Ooh, Free Day Friday, Free Day Friday. Only on a radio network called Hazy with Grandpaw Coyote. And a whole lot of angels, too, which are sometimes disguised as ancestors and ETs and shit. Don't take their word for it. Don't ever accept the image you see before you as a reality until you know it is. Because you're living with it. It's part of you, see? It's, everything around you is. There are no aliens. We're familiar with it all because we're all a part of creation and joined and united in that creation. The conscious presence of the ethereal vapor in all of its forms, babies. Why do you think they call it a holographic reality? Oh, babies, now we're starting to flow into that great glow that is the rising sun of your understanding ancestral heart. Fully filled by the presence of now. In the end, how, eh? One more breath. Free Day Friday. Oh, yeah.